93.
Hey everybody, welcome to Killing Time. This is the entertainment review podcast dedicated to finding entertainment that does not suck. I'm IA.
RB.
Used to be JB. Used to be just Bob.
Nah, we gotta change it up. It's 93. It's been a while.
All right, fine. I'm just Iyaz then. So this is episode 93. So do you have any idea why we're doing this show again?
Why we do this show?
Or why we're doing it again?
Because we need to get to 100 for the 10-year anniversary.
10 years ago, on July 4th, we released the first episode of Killing Time, which is, I think, probably our first foray into podcasting. Because
I believe it was, yes. Absolutely.
And at the time, I was studying for something called the bar exam.
What's that? What's that? Is that to be a lawyer?
Yes, to be a lawyer. I said, go ahead.
So it obviously worked out well.
Yeah, the lawyer thing worked out really good. I'm a retired lawyer now.
Yep.
So 10 years after I was studying for the bar, I'm retired, which is awesome because, I work 40 hours a week and I do shows on the side, and this doesn't sound like retirement.
No, this still sounds like work.
Anyway, yeah, so I switched jobs anyway. And you became a dentist at some point?
Yes, somewhere along the way. Let's see, 10 years ago that would have been 2006. I was just starting dental school at that time. Yep.
And now you're a multi-billionaire who made a killing on washers.
Yes. Not the actual machines, the little things that go on nuts and bolts.
That's right. When it comes to expert nut care. Wait.
No, that doesn't sound right.
That was the first tagline.
Yeah, we needed something else after that. We didn't realize the double entendre there.
That would be a really good other show if we want to start talking about hardware. But I mean like actual tools and things.
Yeah.
And we talk about nut care. And then there's at the end, there's a PSA about testicular cancer. Because you have to talk about that. Anyway.
Kind of like Deadpool did on the video. Did you see that?
Yeah, right. That's right. Now that was smooth because
that was good. I like that.
All right. So Deadpool's coming out on Friday, the 12th.
Yes.
Otherwise known as Abraham Lincoln's birthday, this is totally fitting. I mean, seriously. When you think Abe Lincoln, you think Deadpool, right?
Of course, always. Yeah, you know Abe Lincoln. He was constantly cracking jokes and being sarcastic.
Yeah, I mean, that's how he fought off his depression.
Of course.
Most sarcastic president in the history of the world. If you actually look at the $5 bill, he's actually flipping you off underneath, but they cut that part out.
Yeah, it didn't work for the, in God we trust and everything, so.
Yeah, so that's why Abe Lincoln and Deadpool are like this. And if you listen to the audio version, I'm crossing my fingers over the other. And I just found out this can mean a vulgar term in another country. It would mean a gesture of ladies' genitalia.
Huh, no kidding. Didn't
think about that. So if you're crossing your fingers for luck, be aware where you are. I think it's Vietnam, but I'm not sure. Check Mental Floss, because I've been watching a lot of Mental Floss. Anyway, back to Deadpool. Are you excited for Deadpool?
I actually kind of am, but I have always been a fan of Deadpool. I love the sarcasm, the dark humor, the dirty humor. But I've heard that if you're not a fan of the material, you can't just go and see the movie and like it.
Well, because I think there's a lot of breaking of the fourth wall in the comic books as well with this. And so when Deadpool was created back in the 90s, he was this faceless Rob Liefeld creation who wasn't very funny. He just killed things. And while I wasn't reading comic books, he became funny. And they called him the Merc with the Mouth. And then it was exciting because he was going to be in the Wolverine movie, X-Men Origins Wolverine, the worst Wolverine movie of all time. There's only two. So.
And then they proceeded to sew his mouth shut.
Spoiler. They sew his mouth shut, which I guess is not canonical because they're canonical, whatever.
Yeah, I know the word you're looking for. Yeah.
It's not official. There you go.
Yes. It's not canon.
Right. Not Nick Cannon either. So what I'm saying is, I think they undid that future anyway because of the whole X-Men Days of Future Past.
Right. They pretty much hit the reset button, so now they can do whatever they want.
So now he's got a mouth. It's still Ryan Reynolds, same actor who played him before. Same actor who played Green Lantern. Which
let's not remember that.
No, it's okay. It was a trade. So Marvel got Ryan Reynolds. DC got Ben Affleck. That's the deal.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Daredevil becomes Batman, and Green Lantern becomes Deadpool.
Okay, that works.
And actually, Deadpool's origin could totally work with Hal Jordan if you think about it. He's flying a jet. He gets burned up like crazy, and now he's got to get like experimented on. Boom, he becomes Wade Wilson.
Look at that. DC Marvel crossover right there.
Like this, crossing my fingers again. Now again, it could be Vulcan. Again, I apologize if I'm offending you.
Yes, we apologize if we offend anybody with any of our hand motions.
Yes, just the hand motions. The words we're not apologizing for at all.
No, we never have.
Anyway, so I don't know what to make of the movie from the trailers. It looks like it's really silly, really funny, and the fact that they're just showing, oh, here's Colossus just hanging out. It's obviously a part of the larger X-Men world. I don't know if I'm gonna be like, I don't know if I'm gonna really like this, because if I'm thinking of a mass hero who's quick-witted and funny, I'm thinking Spider-Man, and maybe that's because I'm an old man.
Right. And well, in Spider-Man's a different kind of humor, but you're right. Spider-Man has a similar, funny quality, sarcastic, jokey to everything he does. So he's supposed to. Not all movie versions of him do, but
yeah. So for Deadpool, I think I'll be able to get into it as long as they stay away from adamantium bullets. I think it'll be fine.
Yes. It looks like they've done a decent job. So are you going to go see it this weekend? Or are you going to wait?
I can't see it this weekend. I'm going to have my son with me. So 10 years ago, I didn't have a son. But now I do. And now he's going to be 6 in June. He's 5.5 now. And as much as I've shown him really violent stuff.
That's too much, yeah.
This, not just the violence, it's the language of it all.
Yeah, and some of the things he talks about, or it seems like he's going to be talking about.
Well, they went with a hard R on this one, so they didn't even like bother to go, we want this to be the most mass appeal movie, which I really do respect them for doing this, because it seems like this character needs this kind of leeway to speak in any which way, inappropriateness, and have a lot of violence to make this thing over the top, kind of like Dredd. You ever watch Dredd?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Over the top violence. Yes.
It is the most glorious violence you'll see in movies lately. I think that it's just, if you haven't watched Dredd, watch Dredd.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we're going to see that same stuff. But the trailer, the first trailer that showed up with all the slow-mo, the jokes, all that, seems like it's going to be okay. But I can't see it this weekend. Are you?
I don't plan to, but I think next weekend I will. So not opening weekend, but the weekend after.
What do you think about that weird ad campaign that's been running around where they're marketing it as a Valentine's Day movie?
I think it's funny. That's the romance movie, a different kind of romance.
Well, there's that. And I keep seeing on Reddit, people are like, I'm inviting my girlfriend to this romantic movie. It's like, that's going to backfire if you never explain that it's not a rom-com.
Right. If someone's really thinking of taking a girlfriend to that as a romantic Valentine's Day movie, you're a moron.
Or what if, maybe the girl's really cool.
But if the girl's really cool, like someone who's really into comic books, I'm guessing you could do it for a Valentine's Day thing.
Yeah, I could. Again.
Yeah,
if it comes out early, I could probably see it on Thursday. So we're actually going to do a Valentine's Day thing on Thursday. So for those of you who are listening, and if you know where I live, stay away from me on Thursday.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, okay? If you see me with a tall Amazon, go away.
Yes.
Okay?
Busy.
Yeah, very busy. Very important. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going. Maybe we'll talk to you off air about that. Because this is very important that people don't find me.
Of course. Understood.
So in the 10 years, I've managed to do this as a full-time job, if you believe it. I talk mostly for a living, which is
They pay you for that. They pay you for that.
Yeah, somehow they pay me to talk and write things. But I should, again, that sign in America means good job, company who hired me.
That's right.
I didn't suggest at all. I have heard that some people think that means I'm saying they're crazy. It's not what I'm saying, because that would be a bad thing. They explain me. So yes, I mean that as a sign of respect to you too. Okay.
Yes.
Deadpool. We're gonna watch Deadpool, just not this weekend.
So we'll talk about that on episode 94.
Yeah, 94 we'll have it watched by then.
Yes.
Or we'll have it watched for whatever episode it's going to be in, because I was looking at the archives of the show, and we used to release like 10-minute episodes, 6-minute episodes, and we would I would just chop up episodes like, hey, here's 2 or 3 episodes right there. So,
well, because we do it 1 week and then you have it for the month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we do that. All right, so we've got Deadpool. It's on the docket for things to do. And that leads us to the next topic of your question, Robert. You asked in the lineup, because we have a lineup now, it's all official and stuff. How long till people get sick of superhero movies and shows? And I think the answer is they're already sick of them.
I was actually, that's exactly what I was going to say. I said, I actually think people are already getting burnt out.
Well, shit, we can't have no conflict.
We can't have
they will never get sick of them. You make your
okay. Let me go for a different question. Do you think the fact that Disney now has Star Wars and Marvel is going to take away from one property or the other? Or do you don't think that's too much for one production company kind of thing?
I don't think it's actually going to be an issue because they've always had a bunch of different properties. And I believe with the Star Wars delay that's being moved to December, the Star Wars Episode 8, they're actually moving Pirates up. So they have enough big franchise names they could use. And they also still have Pixar sitting around. So they have a lot of really large moving parts when it comes to...
My problem is they have so many of these movies they have planned. And there's a lot of crossover between comic book nerds and science fiction nerds that they are going to take money away from themselves at some point. Because there's going to be a time where one movie's out here and one movie's out there. Even if one's been out for a couple of weeks, they're going to take money from themselves.
Yeah, but if you're going to cannibalize, you cannibalize from yourself. At least you're going to make the money on both ends.
True. But, there's definitely, since Disney likes to compartmentalize things, there are Marvel people over here, there are Star Wars people over there. I don't know if if there's going to be some kind of friction between the two, or if there's going to be everybody works well together. I don't know.
It's going to create competition within the divisions. You got Pixar going, we want the best heartfelt movie that's going to make you cry in 2.5 seconds. And you got Marvel, and they're like, you're going to listen to a talking raccoon, and you're going to fucking like it. It's like, all right. Yeah. And then Star Wars is like, lightsabers?
Yeah, they just say, remember, you love us, so it doesn't really matter what we do.
Like, remember that droid? He's still there.
Yeah. Remember him? Everybody likes him. See, now he's going to wake up.
There you go. Now and that's all it takes. Actually, all they have to do is like, can we play the John Williams theme again? Yeah, there you go. It's just like, I want, it's like, forget all of the horrible shit that was the prequels. And yes, I'm not going to completely crap on the prequels. It's whatever, it's been done.
Yeah.
But it's just, all right, I remember. Even though I didn't care when I saw that first trailer, like, I was drawn in by the music and the scenery, and I'm just
of course, you can't help it because it, when you were a kid, is what you remember, and that's exactly what they captured.
So so as long as they do that, as long as they indoctrinate the children, which Disney's very good at.
Yeah, which they did with the new movie. They kept the old fans interested, and then the new fans they brought in at the same time.
What a crazy idea! You mean like actually paying fan service and making sure you didn't offend anybody while making a good movie?
Yeah, I didn't think it could be done, but they did a decent job.
Yeah, so I think that Disney has a lot of large projects, but I don't know if they still own the smaller studios. They used to own Miramax. I'm not sure if they still do. But they do have enough interests in everything else, including ABC television, ESPN. They have enough other properties that they can probably survive just fine. But yeah, I do think that we are running a risk of being overly inundated with just heroes. But then again, every movie's been by heroes. Matrix, Unbreakable, any fire department movie.
Yeah, you're right. Just anything with Bruce Willis.
Yes, all the diehards.
Yeah.
All the G.I. Joes. Well, he was on the second one. Yeah. Whatever.
The difference is now it's less just pure action movies and more geek properties.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think that they're losing their geek status because the movies are really good, right?
Yeah.
And that's getting people interested. So it's becoming
mainstream. It is mainstream.
I was going to say co-opted. Co-opted by the mainstream. They've taken it away from the nerds. And that's the other thing. Like when I went to a comic convention in the 10-year span of the show. And I was just like amazed at how many like normal people were there. And I'm like, what the hell are you people doing here? Like, go away. Like, it's supposed to be a small little nerdy group. Now all of you guys are here. you're mucking up everything. You're just
right.
in
It
the
almost
way.
makes you not want to be there anymore.
Right. It's not that I'm a hipster. I didn't like it before it was cool. It was never cool. Okay, now it's
we were looked down upon for all that stuff we used to do.
Well, I mean, we used to go on New Comic Day.
Yes.
The name escapes me. What's the store's name?
Comicopia.
Holy shit. There's a plug for Comicopia. It still exists out there.
Yeah, he's still there. I think he's still there.
Okay, well, go to Comicopia. Really friendly people. I don't know if James is still working there. He was on Jeopardy once. That's what I remember. I don't remember the shop's name for some reason. I remember the guy who was behind the counter. But
I remember we used to go rain, shine, whatever. We'd be there.
Yeah, and then there would be the fear, like, well, because I would never plan properly. This is like in the early days of the internet, so you would look up stuff, but you didn't necessarily look up the weather every time you left.
No.
You had that bag, that brown bag, covered in water. You're like, okay, it's a okay. And then you put the shittier ones on the outside.
Yeah.
And hope the one you really want.
Put it up under your shirt, hoping.
That was Boston. That's how that used to work. But I think with all these stories, they're all very classic stories where you got a hero, he doubts himself, he succeeds, or she, and we have a sequel. I think one of the worst things that's going on, just for me as a moviegoer at this point, is there's a lack of drama when it comes to these characters, because there's a sequel, there's planned out to be like another 25 of them. You don't have the sense of somebody could die.
Or something ending. Yes.
Or the hero will lose, because, I mean, you don't want to see that when you're a kid, and you get used to that. But now that I'm older, it's kind of like, I want to see some, not tragedy, but kind of, I want to see some actual stakes involved. Because otherwise, that was some of the best stuff about comic books. You'd have the high stakes of main characters or close to main characters being killed, and that would be a big event. But that made sense. You're like, okay, if this person can die, well, this is all crazy now. So who knows what's going on.
Right. Which is what made The Dark Knight so good, is he killed somebody.
Oh, yeah,
he kills lots, but he kills main characters, and you didn't think it was coming. And when it happened, it was like, oh my god.
It was like, they're not going to do that. And it never happens. Oh, they did it.
Oh my goodness.
It's like you're expecting a hospital scene, like, oh yeah, I'm fine, missing an arm or something. Yeah. Or like if you watch Buffy, it's like when Xander lost an eye. It was like, holy shit, why does that never happen?
Yeah,
but it should happen. Like everyone always gets hurt by the cheek, over the eye. They have a little bit of dust soot on the nose.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're gonna lose an eye, and that's gonna change things from now on. Now there's a very firm point of before, two-eyed Xander and one-eyed Xander.
Yes.
Which is another podcast. One-eyed Xander.
Absolutely.
So you get movies with stakes. Cloverfield. I'm pretty sure everyone in the movie that shows up on camera, just holds the camera, dies. And as you know, I love bleak movies. I was very happy about them all dying.
You loved that, yeah. You liked that more than anybody else I talked to the movie about.
Specifically because, one, that woman should have been dead when she went through the rebar. Okay?
Yes, agreed.
So she was living on borrowed time anyway.
Yep.
And the other guy, I think his name was Rob, he really he really was not a great protagonist. I mean, like, he wanted to save the girlfriend, and he took his group of friends with him. Why? Can't he just do it himself? But anyway, they all die. So that's
yes, they do. Yes.
As you can see, this brought me much joy. Just the character's death. Obviously, I don't find the death of actual human beings amusing, but when it comes to a character, you're like, they shouldn't have done this. Anyways, there's a sort of sequel. So you saw the trailer?
Yeah, I saw the trailer with the Super Bowl connected to it. So we got looks like we got some kind of fallout shelter that someone is kidnapped and brought into, and all the while this is going on, it looks like the Cloverfield disaster is happening outside. Yeah,
it's got John Goodman in it, which usually to me is a red flag, because I'm like, John Goodman.
Actually, I thought that until I saw him in The Gambler with Mark Wahlberg. Not a great movie, but his character was very good in it.
Okay. I mean, I saw him when he was King Ralph. And he was,
of course. Classic.
King Ralph. He's a very good actor. I mean, I've seen him in a lot of things, actually. There's something about him that kind of is a little off-putting because he can be intense. Yeah. And I'm thinking with this movie, we're going to see that. And it looks like the trailer is really deceptive, right? It starts off, it looks like people playing some board games, it's really quiet.
Right.
And then there's all this talk about leaving the bunker and going outside. And that'll be the death of you. Don't do it. Don't open that door. You'll never be able to come back and all sorts of stuff. Which I think is great because I want to see, because this looks like we're going to be seeing this thing shot from like an all-seeing eye concept. We're not doing the found footage of Cloverfield.
Right. No, it looks like it's all-seeing eye watching them and what they're doing. Yeah, in this little fallout shelter.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we would get more found footage movies. And that'd be kind of neat, like piecing it together from other points of view. But then again, I remember when we reviewed Cloverfield, I was always taken out of it because of the microphones on the camera. Yeah. It's like, how did they get that bass response? Like, he's walking around with this camera. Like, how big is this camera? How many mics does he have? He's getting 5.1 out of this. He got,
yeah. He could hear everything.
He's got to have an array of this. I'm like, what the heck? And then I'm like, oh my God, you're watching a monster movie, you idiot. Why are you worrying about the audio?
And the lighting is perfect, always. I love it.
I'm going to start bitching about Cloverfield now. So the thing is, this friggin' monster, this baby, this scared animal running around eating things and everything, I just don't see why it would bother to eat like one single person. Because it's a lot of work to chase down this little, stupid, insignificant thing. That's like us trying to attack a mouse. Like, what a waste of time that would have been.
So you're thinking he'd go for bigger animals?
Well, I mean, obviously he comes out of the water. He's going after a lot of things at once. Like, so he's going for like people on bridges where they're collected. That makes sense to me. But to consistently go and pick at things, it's like, why? It's the energy expenditure for an animal that size. That's right. I'm going to go scientific here.
Wow.
It's so moronic. Also, I have the same issue with Jurassic World. I'm like, I've studied some of this shit. It's not what happens. You can't. No animal in the world is going to be that big and waste all that energy for what? That's like, I got a nut. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not to scale. So they should be going after fatter, slower things, or other animals. So maybe John Goodman is going to be good at this.
Maybe that's perfect.
He's going to be the one guy worth it. Because I think it was Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Is that the
yeah, that's the girl.
She's skin and bones. This makes no sense. She'll survive.
Right. There's no sustenance there for the Cloverfield monster.
Right. Well, hopefully the parasites thing is.
If we even see it, do you think we're actually going to see the monster here, or is it just the threat of knowing that that's outside?
I think we'll see the monster.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see it at all. We just know that that's what the disaster is that they're talking about outside.
I think what we'll see, you'll definitely see the destruction from the monster.
Yes.
But, actually, maybe we won't. No, I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Grasping at straws here. The movie with the bunker, to me, makes me think this place is somewhere either upstate New York, or it's in like a kind of a country kind of locale.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely rural area. Definitely not a city.
So maybe at most urban it would be suburban, right? So there's some kind of bunker. So the thing is, it could be that these guys know this stuff's happening 40 miles south, and they're like in Westchester, and the Cloverfield animal is being bombed like crazy. He's going uptown, or is he going downtown? I can't remember. He's in Central Park, and they're bombing him. So he could be running.
Right.
I mean, that's all it takes. This is a big animal. So maybe it's impending doom. And then maybe at the end it'll get there, or in the middle it'll get there. Just like they're hunkering down because they think it's coming. But it hasn't shown up yet. Because otherwise, if they're under attack and that's happening, there's no reason why the woman would want to go out unless the attack happened and they think they left. So I think we have to see the monster. Or it's J.J. Abrams. He might be ballsy enough to do it.
Yeah.
Get Super 8. What do you think?
No, let's not. No.
You think we'll see more than the leg of the monster?
I don't think so. The leg of the monster.
Leg of the Monster is a track available at tbd.bandcamp.com. It's BEEDEE.bandcamp.com for our one and only compilation album. The Leg of the Monster is on there. I just listened to it yesterday.
Classic.
It's true. It's bizarre. It's real. We'll explain that when you're older. So do Do you think you'll see more than Light of the Monster or not? Is the question.
I do not think so. No, I don't.
Not even like the
I
last
think we'll
scene?
definitely see the destruction. I don't even think we're going to see the monster.
I find this very depressing. Or I'm hoping there's like 20 of the monsters. Screw
That
it.
would be cool.
It will
That would be
fill up
awesome.
a bunch of other ones. That's why everyone's like, ah, shit.
Yeah.
This is over. Like, that was the other thing. Like, I remember watching Cloverfield the second time. So I was like, what if there was more than one monster? Because this thing seemed to be changing in size. Because the scale was all wrong. But
Right.
That's never
it could have been. Well, and that's also, we know what happened in the city, but we don't know in other cities there might have been more monsters. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe
in this world.
Could be a coastal problem. So
could be.
Maybe they are on the East Coast. They're not in the too far of the country. They could be in Vermont. They could still get attacked. Monsters.
Absolutely.
All right. It's now time to play Sultan of Some Cinema, because that's what I'm saying now.
Okay.
Okay. So for those of you uninitiated, since there's been about a 3-year gap between episodes, Rob knows pretty much everything there is about 80s movie trivia. Why? Actually, why?
I don't know everything there is, but I spent a lot of time watching 80s movies in my life.
Yes, Rob and I were college roommates, and he had the multitude of VHS tapes for all the 80s movies. It was either go to Nuggets to get video or go, Rob, what are we watching tonight? Because he also had the TV, so we had to watch what we wanted to watch. How I watched Godfather, which actually turned out pretty good.
And actually, yeah, some good things came out of that, too.
And King Ralph. We watched King Ralph again. But
that was after a sojourn to a Blockbuster. I don't know if people know what that is.
Okay, so, all right. So this time I looked up a quiz. It's called the toughest 80s movie quiz ever. Now, normally I have the answers already ready, so I can tell you if you are correct as we're doing this. But this quiz doesn't work that way. So I have to ask you each question, put your answers in, and then we're going to find out how you did.
Are we multiple choice in this thing?
There are multiple choices.
Okay.
Are you ready, Sultan of Some Cinema?
As ready as I'll ever be.
All right. Number 1. Which of these isn't a business in Hill Valley circa 1955? And in all fairness, I have a picture of Marty McFly above in case you forgot who that was.
I know what Hill Valley is, yes.
Which of these isn't a business in Hill Valley circa 1955? Armstrong Realty, Roy's Records, Broadway Florist, or Gainer's Hideaway? Which isn't a business in Hill Valley in 1955?
Well, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Gainer's Hideaway? Do you know it? You know Back to the Future better than I do.
Okay, so you're saying Gainer's Hideaway. I'm going to say probably Broadway Florist, but that's a guess. But we'll find out what that is soon. At number 2, what is the name of the shop on the bag in which Andrew, Emilio Estevez, keeps his lunch? This is from Breakfast Club.
Yeah, Breakfast Club. I can tell you what movies it's from. This is some tough questions.
So here are the choices. Happy Foods, Hungry Town, Food Shopper, Valley Eats.
Hungry Town.
Hungry Town. I have an H in my head, so it's either
that's what I do too, and that's my educated guess. But this is the toughest test you've ever given me.
Well, it's from theguardian.com. We'll have a link in the very crazy show notes. Although you'll know the answers by the end, so
yeah, excellent.
Whatever. The Guardian did it, so good for them. Number 3. What is Dana's surname in Ghostbusters? Stenmore, Watkins, Andrews, or Barrett?
Barrett.
Dana Barrett. Okay. Number 4. When Elliot's brother is trying to discount what Elliot saw, what does he not list? This is a movie E.T.
Yep.
Alligator, iguana, stray dog, deformed kid.
Alligator.
Okay. Number 5. What is the first question in the sex quiz in 16 Candles? Have you ever touched it? Have you ever done it? Does he know that you want to do it with him? Do you think about doing it often?
Say those again?
Okay, so the question again is, what is the first question in the sex quiz in 16 Candles?
Right.
Have you ever touched it? Have you ever done it? Does he know that you want to do it with him? Do you think about doing it often?
Have you ever done it?
Okay.
Totally not sure on that one. Wow.
I don't know. Here's number 6. Where is the Zoltar machine found at the end of Big? Battery Park, Sea Point Park, Riverside Park, Riverbank State Park.
Seaside Park.
Seaside isn't an option. You have Riverside or Sea Point.
Sea Point. That's the sea one.
Okay, Sea Point Park. Park, not park.
What?
Number 7. What is the unsuccessful chat-up line Tony uses on a girl at the beach? There's a picture of Pacino as Scarface. What is the unsuccessful chat-up line Tony uses on a girl at the beach? Want to have some fun with my friend? Want to have some cigars with my friend and me? Want to have some cocktails with my friend and me? Want to have ice cream with my friend and me?
Want to have cocktails with my friend and me.
Okay. There's a picture of, well, this is going to be easy, Field of Dreams. Because it actually says it in the question. Which one of these isn't a player in Field of Dreams? Chuck Gandil, Swede Risberg, Eddie Cotty, Steve Easton.
No idea. Total guess. Steve Easton.
Steve Easton. Where do Freddie and Alan pretend to be from during the finale of Splash? Germany, Finland, Norway, or Sweden?
Sweden.
Okay. Number 10. How many questions are there in there? It's 1,000 questions. Okay, good. Number 10.
God.
What is the name of the art gallery clerk who can't pronounce Axel Foley's name? Serge? Laurent?
Serge.
Serge. Okay, Serge.
Aquel, Akmel, Akel. Bronson Pinchot plays the guy.
That's extra trivia right there.
Sorry.
Number 11. No extra points for this, but I'll give you one there anyway. Number 11. Which test did Ferris miss on his day off? Medieval archaeology, European socialism, postmodern literature. I'm literate. Animal biology.
The socialism one.
European socialism. That sounds great to me. Number 12. During dinner in the Temple of Doom, an anecdote mentions that Indiana Jones was accused of being a grave robber in what country? Honduras, Belize, Costa Rica, Panama.
Costa Rica. Wow.
You get it.
My goodness. I'm getting smoked on this thing.
Number 13. What is the name of the TV food critic in Mystic Pizza? Hungry Pen, The Food Expert, Creme de Cuisine, Everyday Gourmet.
Everyday Gourmet.
Right. Number 14. How much does Hans Gruber intend to steal in Die Hard? $620 million, $630 million, $640 million, $650 million.
650.
The final question, number 15. Which weapon is, excuse me, for some reason my brain just broke.
So,
Which weapon is used to kill Yvette in Clue? Candlestick, rope, lead pipe, revolver.
lead pipe.
Lead pipe. All right, we're going to submit
I
your
can't even
answers.
remember which one. I can't even remember which one's Yvette.
She's the French maid.
Oh, okay.
You're sticking with lead pipe?
Yeah, sure.
Lead pipe for the French maid. Yeah.
I knew maybe 3 of those off the top of my head.
We're submitting your answers. Let's see what happens. Your results. 7 out of 15. Does it actually say the answers? Oh, we can actually see the answers. All right. Number 1 was incorrect. Number 1, which isn't a business in Hill Valley circa 1955. You answered Broadway. Oh, sorry. You answered Gainer's Hideaway. Correct answer was Broadway Forest.
Good job.
Holy crap. Number 2, you also got that wrong. This is the bag in Emilio Estevez's lunch. We both said Hungry Town. Happy Foods was the actual one.
We had the H right.
H was right. Dana's surname is Barrett. Good
Yes.
job there.
That one. That's one of the ones I knew.
Elliot's brother discounts Elliot's things. He did not list a stray dog. He did say an alligator. I thought this was the right answer for the 16 Candles one, and I don't know why. The correct answer for the first question of the sex quiz in 16 Candles was, have you ever touched it? Where's the Zoltar machine found? You were correct. Sea Point Park.
That's one I knew.
Number 7. You got that one incorrect. Which is the unsuccessful chat-up line that Tony uses in Scarface. The actual line is, want to have some ice cream with my friend and me. Number 8, you got correct. Which isn't a player in Field of Dreams? Steve Easton. So good job.
Total guess.
Where did Freddie and, you got a streak of 4 here, actually. Where did Freddie and Alan pretend to be from in the finale's Flash? Sweden is correct. Surge, you knew was completely correct. European socialism is the test he ditches. That's 4 in a row right there. Now you get hit. I thought Honduras was the right answer for the Temple of Doom story, and it was. But
good.
Costa Rica is what you answered. Number 13, you were right on Mystic Pizza. The TV food critic's name was Everyday Gourmet. Hans Gruber wanted to steal $640 million, not $650 million. And the weapon used to kill Yvette in Clue was rope, not a lead pipe. But that's actually awesome. So they said 7 out of 15. It actually says greed is good. You beat the average score. The average score is 5.
Oh.
So that's pretty impressive. You've done it, I believe, because you didn't do a majority. But you got that extra half point because you said Bronson Pinchot, and that wasn't part of the test. So there you go.
I got 50%. Still failing, but I'm pretty happy with my performance.
That's graded on the curve. Most people are getting a 5. A 7 is actually pretty good. So you get like a C. Actually, no, a C would be the curve. So you get like a B. So congratulations, you retain your title as Sultan of Some Cinema because you're not Sultan of all cinema. But that would be
some.
Right. That's just crazy.
Perfect.
There you go. Is there anything else we want to tell the viewing audience or listening audience before we go?
What have you been watching on TV?
I have been watching, thankfully, The Flash, season 1.
Season 1. What do you think? I watched season 1 real time, so I know it pretty well.
I think it's really well done. And what annoys me most about the show, I'm like, this guy is like the best Peter Parker in the world.
Yes.
The problem is he's not playing Peter Parker, but as the Flash, he's excellent as the Flash. Grant Gustin is his name. You can't think you want an alliterative name for somebody. Grant Gustin happens to be the Flash. It's perfect, and he's excellent. And he's not going to be the Flash in the movies. It was kind of a downer after seeing we just finished the first season finale today. After weeks of trying to get through the 23 episodes. Because it's one of those shows I can only watch with Liz. It's like it's a weird arrangement, by the way. I don't know why people do this, but I went into this with a couple of shows. So you can't stop. You can't watch anything until the other person's there, which is really dumb. But
difficult.
But people do it. A lot of people do this.
Yeah.
So we watched the whole thing. I really liked it. I'm very excited to get to season 2.
Yeah, season 2 has been good so far. You'll look forward to it. It doesn't have that sophomore slump that I thought it would. And
the other thing is, like, Liz is trying to get me into Arrow, and I can't do it. And I'm like, she's like, why? I go, I think I don't know what it is, but from what I've seen, he looks like Batman Light, but he's brooding and upset.
That's exactly what it is. And Oliver Queen's not supposed to be quite like that.
I don't know much about Oliver Queen, the character from DC. I also know he should be hanging out with the Green Lantern, not the Flash.
Right.
And I think at times with the Flash as well, they get a little cutesy with the crossover stuff and some of the insider jokes.
Yeah.
I really didn't like Mark Hamill in his role as a trickster because he was so cartoonish. And everybody else.
If you remember right, it's because he was a carryover from the original series with the guy who plays his father. I can't remember his name. Wesley Allen Shipp.
Yeah, that's
some ship. But he was in that original show, which was more cartoonish in general.
Yeah, I guess that aired on CBS, and I really like the fact that they have the old Flash playing Flash's dad. I thought that was a really neat little twist.
Yeah, and they had the scientist lady from the original playing the same scientist lady in the new one.
So
same name.
Not to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But Ted Kavanaugh, who used to play Ed on the show Ed, is just great on the show.
He is surprisingly good. Like, I never expected him to be so good in that role. He's
an excellent talker. There's a lot of scientific, BS to actually get through, and he does a very good job with it. Very accessible. And the actor playing Joe, who's basically he's Iris's dad in this, and he's essentially Barry's foster dad.
Foster dad. Yeah. You'd say he adopted him. He adopted him. Yeah.
And that relationship is so good and so subtle at times, and so funny and so caring. It's like it's almost perfect. I don't know if there's actually anything wrong with it because I haven't analyzed it enough, but they have such a great on-screen chemistry together as father and son. It's just like
I think a lot of the cast has really good chemistry together as they need to. I think they do a good job with each other and actual like feelings and things like that.
And when it comes to Iris, Liz was getting a little sick of her. I'm like, hey, if you're sick of her, you should watch Smallville because you will really, really hate Lana Lang.
Oh my God! By about season 2, you'll hate Lana Lang.
Well, not even by season 2. It's more like you're like at season 5 of Smallville, and you're like, would you just stop this dance, just get together? It's season 5. I mean,
yeah, it's time. Let's do this.
Not only do you have to get together, you have to get broken up because Lois Lane's got to show up, and we all know that. So what the hell are we doing? We're wasting our time. So I don't have that Smallville anger. I was kind of iffy on the Monster of the Week formula to Flash. I didn't necessarily like that because it reminded me of Smallville a little bit and kind of scared me that way.
Yeah.
But it was handled relatively well. What about you?
They did the Monster of the Week within a greater big story, so it seemed to work. And they do the same thing in season 2. There's a bigger story that they somehow work in the kind of Monster of the Week thing too.
So what have you been watching?
I've been watching, like same as you, the season 2 of Flash. I've given Supergirl a chance, and I was actually surprised by it. It's definitely more comic booky and definitely more cutesy. There's no darkness to it whatsoever, but the acting is actually pretty tight, surprisingly.
That also airs in CBS, and this is a spoilery thing. So if you're listening and you're like, I don't want to know anything about future plans with Supergirl, turn it off now. You gone? Turn it off. Okay, back. All right, good. So the Flash is going to have a crossover on Supergirl, and there's been a big question whether the Supergirl show is in the same. They call it the Arrowverse. That's what I found out.
Yeah.
Arrow spinoff was the Flash, and there's another spinoff called Legends of Tomorrow, which I haven't watched yet.
Which is bad.
I want to get caught up with
Yeah.
Flash before I see that. There a lot because it focuses on the bad guys. I think Captain Cold. They have both the guys from Prison Break. I don't like them necessarily on the Flash. I don't.
Yeah, they're a little over the top, both of them.
Well, I think the weird thing is after watching a bunch of the other bad guys, Cold seems less over the top because he's just quieter in general.
Yeah.
But it's still dumb.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's that. And you were saying that, well, you're watching Supergirl. So, yeah, so the Flash is going to show up there.
Yeah.
And I guess it might be part of the same universe, or I don't know.
It might be. In the Flash, they're dealing with other universes, Earth 2, so to speak, kind of thing. Could be. So, yeah, definitely, you need to understand what's going on with the Flash probably to understand the crossover completely. If that's how they do it. I don't know.
So there is obviously an issue between the DC universe where not necessarily there's another weird outlier show called Gotham. It's on Fox.
Yeah.
And it has no connection to the Arrowverse. It can't. It has no connection to the movies that are coming out now. It can't. And at one point, I was having a discussion about this, and I'm like, Marvel's got this very cohesive thing minus the whole Fox thing, where Fox has X-Men and
has the mutants,
And Spider-Man, thankfully, has kind of got a deal back with Disney. So, yes, Sony still owns it and whatever. But let's get to this point. It's basically one universe with Marvel.
Yeah.
And television. And I was like, well, DC's got all these split up things. And then at some point, like, what if they just like smash it all together like a Crisis? Like, oh shit, they could do that.
Absolutely.
At any time to have this.
Anytime. That's what the comic books do. Yeah, that's what Marvel Comics just did one, and DC a couple years ago did one. I mean, anytime things get too mixed up, like in Marvel, they had the Ultimate Universe and the mainstream universe, and they just did a big Secret Wars smash up, and now they have one.
I read Secret Wars up till issue 6 or so, because I actually tried Marvel Unlimited for a little bit.
Yeah.
I read as much as I could, and I really had a hard time understanding what the hell was going on.
Yeah, me too. I didn't get through the whole thing, and I found maybe because I've been removed from the Marvel Universe for a while, I didn't understand what they were getting at with most of it.
Yeah, and it definitely seems like you have to read everything else to make this make sense. And I didn't really care for the.
Didn't have the time. There's just too much to read.
Yeah, so I was reading that, and like I dumped Marvel Unlimited because of the 6-month gap. Yeah, I want to know what's happening now. I know Scribd has a bunch of comic books. I'm trying that out now too. So I've been reading a little bit more. I've been trying to like read comic books again, which is weird. But it's easier because like I have this thing. It all goes into here.
Yeah. I've been doing older things. Like I read the Walking Dead comic books recently, and I reread Preacher, which is just awesome. No matter how many times I read it, it's just awesome every single time.
I remember it being awesome the first time I read it, the second time I read it, third time. But after years, I was like, this is definitely a product of the time. That it's awesome from when I remember it. But without that surrounding environment of just shit around it, like here's Youngblood reboot number 6, and it's like,
yeah, you're saying there's so much good stuff now that it's not as good when you put it in that context.
Yeah, partially. Like it was really, really freaking edgy. It was really cutting edge in this is like late 90s. So now there's a lot. Like The Walking Dead's pretty rough.
Yeah,
that's similarly.
You're right. It doesn't have that edge, but it's really, really well written. It's got a good story, and still made me want to read the next issue right away.
That was always really good about that book. So if you guys have never read Preacher by Grant Morrison, no, it's not right. Who's Preacher? Do you remember? Steve Dillon was the artist.
Ennis?
Oh, Garth Ennis. You're right. Garth Ennis.
Yeah, Garth Ennis, right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, so that was the team that put together Preacher. It was a 66-issue run. It actually had an actual conclusion.
Yeah, it was good. That's another reason I like it. It's a contained story, beginning, middle, end.
And a couple spin-off books. Saint of Killers was freaking awesome. It's a good story. It's a really good story. And unlike like what I was complaining about before with other stories and other the hero will never lose kind of thing, there's a lot of loss in this book. And I'm not giving anything away at all. But there's just like, when stuff happens in this book, you sometimes are literally just staring at the page and you're like, that shouldn't be happening. That happened.
Yeah.
They're going for it. And because it's in its own world, it was an imprint, it was printed under Vertigo's imprint, which was on its own world. It wasn't like attached to Superman or anything.
Right.
So the characters could really move and grow and change without it being such a problem. Also, it's incredibly profane. It's also very violent. It is not for kids, unless your kids are messed up from watching Deadpool, I guess. So, definitely agree.
Yeah. That being said, that rereading it makes me really afraid for the TV, the show they're making on it.
Is it on AMC?
I think so. I don't know what it's on. I know. I just know it seems like it's going to be hard to translate into a good TV show. I think it will be, at least.
I mean, it's essentially, or it is going to be AMC. It's flat out it's a Western. It's a Western. If you can make a Western work, then it'll be good. And if you can't, we'll definitely see. I remember when, like, I think at one time, it was a Wizard magazine. They were like, Ben Affleck would be the perfect Preacher. It's like, actually, he probably would have been. You don't think so?
Maybe. He could have been. The guy who they got playing the Preacher is it's the guy who's Howard Stark on Agent Carter and the S.H.I.E.L.D. movies and everything. Tony Stark's father. That guy, Dominic. God, I can't remember his name.
I'm going to find out. Let's see. Going through IMDb, which is still awesome. He's got it's Dominic Cooper.
Dominic Cooper. Yeah.
Well, that's Howard. Oh, he doesn't look like Howard Stark at all. Well,
yeah, that's Howard Stark. Yep.
Wow. No, How can they do both? Actually, Preacher's not considered to be a comic book, if you think about it.
Yeah, not really. It's its own. Just like Walking Dead, at this point, the show is as big as the comic book ever was.
Anything else I've been watching on TV? I've been watching a lot of Shark Tank for some reason. You ever watch Shark Tank?
Yeah, that's one. If it, if I'm bored and I flip to it and I watch an episode, interesting.
I'm gonna do like a humble brag. So I was invited to host a talk at Babson College, right? So they sent me out, and I was interviewing an entrepreneur who was giving advice to these people who were like, okay, we want to learn about being entrepreneurs. And at the end, I got to be a judge and help determine who should win this contest about these businesses. These kids would come up and they would pitch their businesses, like whether it's bike rentals for some place, or apps that would do away with texting and IMing, all these different pitches. And I was like, oh, that was really cool. And then I just threw on, for some reason, who was like, hey, you might like Shark Tank. And it ran the episode on its own. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of like that thing I saw. It was really kind of neat. I didn't realize, because I was really thinking Shark Tank would be a dumb show. And
yeah, no, it's not. It has its dumb moments, but some of it's some serious, business stuff.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know anything about the show, Shark Tank is a bunch of venture capitalists sitting at in their chairs. And you come in, you give your business pitch, you go, hey, I like to sell cupcakes, and I make the best cupcakes. Do you want to buy in Mark Cuban? Mark Cuban, it's actually Mark Cuban. It's like, well, what's your business plan? Because they actually ask these questions. So it's not really dumb. They don't necessarily make the contestants, jump or do some just, hoop jumping kind of thing. They actually have real questions that you want to know about the business. So it's a bit, for a reality show, it's pretty cerebral, but it does suffer the reality thing of, oh, here's Molly. Molly only has one eyelash, and tears fall off. The sweat falls into her eye. It drives her crazy. But Molly found a way around it with a headband. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's a human interest story. It's the best human interest story I could think of in such a short notice. I did not prepare anything for this. Talk for a living. Don't forget that.
So when are you going on Shark Tank to present the straw?
The straw, I will present them in season, I think they're up to season 7 right now. It's season 14.
Okay.
I believe I will start inundating them with the straw, a well-known product, which we have patented at Finite Comedy Systems, that is strong enough to go through a potato, but not so strong that you will hurt yourself. So it's very impressive. This Finite Comedy Systems straw. We used to call it a drinking apparatus or a fluid mover, but we're working on the word straw. It reminds us of those like hay kind of things, very similar. So yeah, we'll get that on there at some point. So I've been watching that show, and it's not too bad. But again, it's really dumb because you can kind of tune out, and there's about like maybe 3 or 4 presentations, so you're not getting totally bogged down. So it moves pretty fast.
Yeah, especially if there's doing something else while watching it, you get bored on one. I'm always got a computer or something in front of me, and then the next person will come out and they'll bring you back in.
Yeah, that's all I've got. You got anything else?
No, that's all I got.
All right, so we'll be back sometime. I don't know when. Maybe next Monday. I don't know if we're going to keep doing this live. I only do this live because this is kind of like a test, and then we'll see what happens. So if you want show notes, there'll be a couple of lines at killingtime.tv, and you'll be able to download the show. I think you'll be able to listen to the show. I don't know if the RSS feeds work. I'll work on that during the week. And how did we close the show? Do we have a close?
Yeah.
Just remember, this is an obscene gesture somewhere. It's okay. And
this is okay. This is good.
This is good. There you go. And we'll see you next time. We can't see you now, but it's a say.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.